Sakina. It's Sakina. It's Sakina.
Let me tell you how excited I am about my guest tonight. Joining me on the come up, we've got Ashawnti and Joy. Ow, 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 ow. Woo! Oh, hey, whoa. Hello, people of the world in the come up universe. It's me, Nick, and this is the come up. Wow, here we are, another week in my closet. I forgot to charge my light, so it's not purple. But that's okay. Like I said, live theater. This is live theater. That's why I did this show, to make you feel like you got an authentic experience where things go wrong sometimes. And that's okay, because we like wrong, because that's live theater. I'm excited you're here. I'm truly very exhausted. I think a lot of us are. I feel like we had like the 7-year election process, and then Joe Biden won, and there was a little bit of like, yeah, but then a reminder of like, it's so like we're all in this place right now of kind of like loosey-goosey what's happening, confused, maybe a little tired and exhausted, but that's okay, because tonight we're gonna laugh. We're gonna laugh. You wanna know why we're gonna laugh? Because Joy and Ashawnti are here. These two are Minneapolis-based actors, comedians. Ashawnti is a songwriter. Joy is an incredible teacher. I say songwriter because her songs are funny. Like, we wrote one before we got on here. She might drop that later. Now that I've said it, there's some pressure to do that. Joy literally is the hero of everything. She's teaching classes. Ashawnti's teaching you how to be well for yourself. These two women are just changing everything, and I am so excited to talk to them. So here they are. Joy, Ashawnti, ow. Hello, how are you?
Oh, God.
Thank you so much for being here. That's it, y'all. There's the show.
Bye. Have a great night, everybody. You're welcome.
How are you two doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. No, I'm actually doing good. It's like you said, it's like staying busy, and Biden won, so that's a big relief off my shoulders. A couple days ago, it was announced that there might be a vaccine by the end of the year, which is like, were you guys waiting until after Trump was out of office?
That's what Donald and his son think. They're like, they didn't want him to get. People are saying the same thing about Nancy Pelosi too, about like how they wouldn't let the stimulus package pass because if it did, people would be happy and they would have voted for Trump again. So there's a lot of
petty. That's some petty shit right there.
I feel like sometimes I'm petty enough to be a politician. Like
I'm a petty politician.
Petty politician. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, historic moment. No matter how you feel, like we have a Black Indian woman as the vice president. It's that I don't think that anyone realized how exhaustive the last 4 years have been. On the 7th, when we got that news, everyone was like, "Ooh!" Around the world, the whole world was like,
they were tuning in. We had friends from Europe, from when me and Joy have done improv in Amsterdam. They're checking in on us, like, we're just rooting for you guys, we're hoping everything's okay. Wow. And I'm like, I'm finna go to sleep, thank you.
Because it was so long, and that whole week, people were intense, and I was like, folks, let's just simmer a little bit, let's enjoy the magic walls. Can we talk about the magic walls? I keep talking about the magic walls because they were my favorite thing of the event.
What is that?
When they were touching the walls, and they were like Maricopa County, and they're pushing on CNN, and it was the big walls they're touching. My favorite.
They have great productions. Their whole, I tuned in so much to the election, and I didn't think I was going to, but I was like, CNN knows how to make you feel something. They're like, and if this happens, look at this. If these two counties here win.
Well, the funny thing is nothing was happening.
No, but you're glued. You're absolutely glued. And the thing is too, even before the magic walls, when they were doing the debate, like, am I freezing up on you guys? Can you see me?
No,
Okay?
you
I
look
can
great.
see you. Yeah.
Dope. So like when they were doing the debate, it was like the two of them were going after each other, and it was like a WWE like ring. Like first up is Trump, and then he's going to be going against Biden. Come on, who's going to win the what?
And then the Kamala and Mike Pence photo was so intense. Also, where is Mike Pence? Has anyone checked on him? Does anyone know? He
They
has been
killed him
like,
a long time ago. They're like, we don't need you anymore, bud. You're fired.
I think he tiptoed away. He was like, let me see if I can make it out without nobody causing a hectic riot or anything.
because dude is gone. Like he's just
He
like
left.
left the building.
Yeah. He did what Hillary did when she lost. We were like, where are you?
She was in the woods walking. Did you see that thing in the paper or in the newspaper later where like somebody was like the next day after she lost, they found her like hiking in the woods and it was so like inspiring,
Oh.
whatever. It's like, bitch went to the woods, y'all.
There you go. That was needed.
Yeah.
See, I knew this was great. This was great. This is the episode I didn't know I needed. Y'all have just like lifted my spirits already.
Yes,
So,
yes.
okay, you two are both hilarious individuals that live in Minneapolis. Let's talk for a moment about Blackout Improv. What is Blackout? How did it start? Give me the deets. What's happening?
So Blackout Improv was started in 2015 by myself and John Gibertatios, Corey LaQuest Pullum, I'll say Bruno and Andy Hilbrands. And like we were just 5 friends that were sick of being the only Black people in our troops. Or, you know, we were doing improv for quite a while and it was like, why are we always the only ones? And we realized that when we started doing improv together, we were able to make jokes that we understood as Black people. And so we know we did a show in 2015 in like for like 100 folks, and we're like, okay, we'll just do one and see what happens. And then that one sold out. And then we did another one, and then that one sold out. And then we kept going. We're like, these are selling out. We must be doing something different. So our biggest selling point is the swag hat, which is the portion where we as a group talk about things from a Black perspective. And then we do improv based on that conversation. So we can talk about like food, family, Thanksgiving, police brutality, you know, LGBTQIA issues, anything like that from the Black community, and then turn whatever that conversation is, whether it's good or traumatic, into improv comedy. So we've been kind of using that. And then from that, we've been doing workshops with people just to kind of showcase how you can be vulnerable and be a real person while doing improv. And by real, I mean, you know, being able to speak your truth, because whatever you are when you're doing improv is you are enough, right? Anything you bring to the table is right. And it helps that, you know, after that first year, we had us 5, and then we added more people. We added Ashawnti and Alyssa and a few other folks. And that was the main idea, is like, if you have a strong point of view and you can speak your truth, you can do improv. That's what we were trying to give. And that also created a platform for people of color that were interested in trying improv and interested in kind of feeling like what it's like to have the spotlight on you and be able to say what you want to the group. Because we're based out of Minnesota, you know, Minnesota, fucking white, right? So like, you don't often get a platform here, and you don't often get people coming and listening and respecting what your opinion is. So so we were doing that for the last few years. And then from that, from joining with Ashawnti and like the other 8 members that we had, we started traveling. So we started doing college shows, shows in high schools, middle schools, for organizations, for corporations. We went to Canada. We've been to Amsterdam, Sweden, Sweden.
Not Norway, Sweden.
It's all the same.
Bitch, we going soon. But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much what we are and what we do. And like, even with COVID happening, like we're still doing shows online and connecting with people and just kind of helping people find their fucking joy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. June 16th, 2017. That was the day of the verdict of Philando Castile. It's when that officer was acquitted. And that was my first Blackout Improv show. I was doing Ghost at the Old Log, which was already difficult because I had to go and be in this very wide space, like where, you know, no one could really, except for the three other Black people in my cast really knew what that day felt like.
Mm.
Um, and so my friend China Bricky was like, we got to go. Like, let's go to a blackout show. Like, I think, and we were like, we don't know. But like being in that space and like, one, being with a lot of Black folks, but two, like the way that you just like you said, you were vulnerable and we talked about it in that room. And then to see improv after that was like, whoo, I was a stan from that moment.
That's what I,
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that's one of the things I love about us as a troupe is like the healing through laughter. And we're never like making fun of something. We're never like, you know, hey everyone, forget about your troubles, forget about your pain, let's just laugh. We always take, you know, what is tensing up inside of us, and we use laughter as a way to help it release and help us process and chew and, you know, just think through all of these horrible traumatic things. It's like a tool for it rather than something that covers it up. I love that about us. And when I explain us to other people, that's like one of the things that I always bring up is like laughter is healing, and we are social justice because we didn't ask to be a social justice troupe, but it's like it happens because we're Black in America. And so what we're going to talk about when it comes to our truth and when it comes to like our experiences is going to have a lot to do with politics and social justice and being politicized. And then we're going to laugh about it. And it's going to help us, you know, get through this shit. So I love it.
Yeah.
It also has that feeling of like, I mean, being with your family, like if you have a Black family, or I guess any family really, when you can get together and talk about real shit, like, you know, with, like you were saying, Philando Castile, Jamar Clark was also, I think that week that he was murdered, we had a show, and like we went downstairs and we're like, I don't feel like doing comedy. Like, I don't feel like being funny right now. And we ended up just spending the first 45 minutes of the show, just us fucking talking about how we feel and like why this hurts and why, you know, we still feel like we're not heard, and how we feel like we're like in this cycle all the time. And you know, there was a lot of screaming and yelling and tears and things like that, but then after that it was just so much easier to laugh at it because it's so ridiculous. Like, it's so ridiculous, the shit that we're still putting up with as Black people. And it's like, you like, what is it saying, you have to laugh to keep from crying, you know? And it's very much that. And not only that, like you were saying earlier, Nick, that you were with other Black people in Minnesota, and I think across the nation, it's hard for people to get people of color to come see live performances, period. And so with Blackout Improv, when you can literally see yourself and hear these situations that are also frustrating to you, it creates a community and it creates a bond with the folks on stage and off stage, while also allowing white people to witness what that feels like. You know, theaters are always like, you know, we have to advertise to the white people because they're the ones with the money. It's like, bitch, no, Black people have money. They just don't see your fucking shit.
We don't want to give it to you.
That part.
I don't want to see Midsummer Night's Dream anymore, bitch.
Unless it was my production. I did a really good one.
You did do.
Well, you did a Black version. That was good.
I did I did a very Black ass version of a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes. Okay. Great segue. Let's talk about your company.
Oh yes. So well, you know, I started the same reason kind of that Blackout was started. I started a company with my friend Antonio Duke called the Black Ensemble Players, not to be confused with the Black Ensemble Theater in Chicago. But we thought about that a lot. But anywho, we were just like, we really wanted to get Black people together to do Shakespeare. And I know people are wondering like, okay, Shakespeare, he's so tired, put him away, hang it up. You know, like a lot of people think that, but, and I even thought that for a little bit, but there's a lot of, as you say, universality. There's a lot of stories that can be pulled from Shakespeare that can be, you know, reflective of Black experiences, Black histories. So our first production was A Midsummer Night's Dream, a Black ass play. And we took from the Yoruba tradition, our Yoruba peoples in Nigeria, and just a lot of West African tradition, and incorporated into our play. Like our fairies were orishas, you know, and our lovers were also, we gave them like things to play with that were reflective of different orishas as well. And Antonio Duke is a beautiful writer. He's written a lot of one-person shows, and he's a poet and dancer and all these things. But he took that script And when I tell you he turned it upside down, peeled it inside out, went in there and like he got rid of names. He was like, we ain't saying this shit. We saying Ogun. We ain't, like he went in there like he came up to me. He was like, A Midsummer Night's Dream is a Black play. Like he was just like, look at the stuff. This is spirituality. This is West African. This is about gods and goddesses and, European traditions, when they don't go back to their roots, they are very about like one God and one this. So anywho, it was amazing. We've done, we also did an online show. We haven't done mini productions, but we did an online Juneteenth celebration, which was really fun. And we just took a bunch of monologues from Susan Laurie Parks, and we had actors just practice those monologues, and we celebrated Juneteenth together online as a collective. Because we couldn't be in person, but I love it. We just do what we want when we want, and we make it Black as fuck. Because there's not a lot of that.
Yes. Listen, I love that. So, this is two examples of like creating space for Black folks in Minnesota, which I think people would not think could be possible. Or like when you think Minnesota, you think white folks. So I was actually shocked too when I got there, and I was like, it's a lot of y'all. I was like, and you're doing things. That's amazing. So, whoever would like to start, what has that experience been like finding that community in Minneapolis and working in Minneapolis?
Yeah. Well, I'm born and raised in Minneapolis, and my parents are artists, and my dad's a rapper, hip hop artist. My mom was is a spoken word artist. So a lot of my upbringing has, within the arts, has always included Black people. And I think for the longest time, I didn't realize or see like in the mainstream parts of that artistic world that, Minnesota is really white. So I grew up like, we're doing Black History Month celebration at school. We're going to do Maya Angelou's poetry and showcase it, Shay Cage, who's really, she's like a big person here. Like I grew up watching her, and I grew up seeing her do a lot of stuff on the spoken word stuff. So when I grew up, it was very Black. When I got older and started working and started like trying to get a job as an artist here in the city, like I saw like, oh, we're in this corner over here and everyone else is doing their thing and not really worried about us right now. I see. So I would say it was a bit of a shock because I'm also like from, Blacker parts of the city. Mm-hmm. So when I grew up and branched out, that's when I began to see like, oh, it's actually really white here. Oh.
It's so funny you say that because I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and my friend Ishelle, who was on, said the same thing. She was like, it's weird that we have this conversation so much about like Black folks doing theater in Omaha because that's all I did. Like I only did theater with Black people, like from like age 15 to like 25, and then all of a sudden it went away. So Joy,
I would say, my experience was very different because, my parents are Liberian. They came over here in the 80s. So I'm first generation Liberian, and I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee in a white Christian neighborhood. And then I moved here to Fridley, Minnesota, which is a white suburb of Minneapolis. And so I grew up thinking the white way was the right way in so many ways. It's like, I didn't even, and God bless them, Africans and African Americans are different, praise God, but they're different. So, I had some prejudices from my parents that were kind of rubbed into me as well. So it's like, I grew up thinking, this is just what theater was. And like, even when I was in middle school, high school, and I was placed in like roles that were for the Black people, it was like, oh, that's just my part. And it just seemed right to me. And then when I went to college, I went to Morehead State right next to Fargo, again, a white community and a white theater program. And something always felt off and felt wrong. And I always felt like I was like this thing that should be molded by them as opposed to me molding myself into my craft. And so I ended up leaving and going to Metropolitan State and graduating from there. And that was when I came here in St. Paul, I had my first Black teacher, Reggie Phoenix, who was like the biggest inspiration for me to like keep going in theater and keep getting started. And he wouldn't put up with my shit like in a very loving way, as Black people can do. And so I learned so much from that year and a half. I learned more in that year and a half than I did in like my entire 3-4 years in Moorhead. So, and then when I started working in Minnesota, I was still working for the theaters, like all the big theaters were hiring white actors. So I was the only Black person in these white groups. And every once in a while I would do a production with Black people. And it was like, whoa, everybody, can we just like check mark this moment for a second? Like everyone here is Black except the stage manager, but everybody here is Black.
Not except the stage manager.
I have a slave master. Why are you late from your break? Like, bitch, I come back 5 minutes late because I can.
Honestly, you know what? That joke you just made, it's so funny to me because that is what happens in Black spaces. Like when we're making theater together, like, and the white stage managers never know how to handle it. It's like, oh yes, sir, we're back from break, sir. And they're like, no, don't do that. And it's like, girl, we just playing. Like, you good. Like,
don't take it so seriously. But no, seriously, with Blackout, like I feel like that has started to become like, that's where I started with my real Black community, and then that's just kind of branched from there. But I mean, it's been a long road, but I think it also, like, I feel like for myself, I like to think that I see both sides of the coin, meaning like I grew up with this very specific niche in my family, and then like seeing the white side, seeing the African side, and then seeing the African American side. So I feel like there's a lot of things that I can see from different perspectives, which I'm really grateful for. And I'll give you an example. Like when we went camping, Ashawnti, remember when you and Melissa went camping? And like we drove to southern Minnesota on hunting season weekend, which we didn't know.
We did.
And we were going to like a small town, and like all the way there, if you leave outside the metro area anywhere, you start seeing more Trump signs and more, ridiculous things. And so just going into those kinds of communities, you can feel very uncomfortable because you feel like you don't belong. There's a lot of people here with different ideologies. And so, we went camping. It was fine. But then once we were coming back, Alyssa said something really enlightening. She said, after being out here and seeing how sparse things are, how much space there is, seeing towns of like 14 people, you realize that people are coming from a different perspective. And so when they see things happening in the city, they literally cannot understand it. So then they see Trump and he says, I'm going to lower your taxes. What's the number one problem in small town communities? Taxes. Right. What do farmers want? What do farmers need? And so they lean towards that ideology. So it's natural for them to support these racist, ridiculous people because they don't see the other side of the coin at all. Like some of these people have never met Black people before in their lives in 2020. Right. So I feel like I have more compassion for it. I don't understand it. I don't agree with it, but I have compassion for it, And so I feel like that's what I've learned with all the things going on.
Yeah. And not to be confused, because we had this conversation and we were like, I see why they would be like, I need Trump, but not to confuse them with like these actual like hating ass, racist ass, like people who are like, fuck Black people. Can we swear? And then
this is a great episode. We're in it. I'm ready.
It's too late. But like, we can't go back now.
There's like the obvious pitchfork holding, transphobic, homophobic, all these people who are like clearly like you're a piece of shit. But the farmer who doesn't talk to people and who's like, I just want my taxes lowered. And it's like, it's like I can see why.
Right. Yeah. It's nuanced. And I think, I'm really hoping that what this administration gives us in Biden and Harris is transparency and an understanding of that. Like a lot of people in Black and brown communities, in farm towns, in small towns, they just don't understand the system. They don't understand why things look the way they do. And they're like, fix it. If this person says they can fix it. Like the political games have gone on for so long that people are just listening to words and like, like we need action. And that action looks like being like, listen, let me break down. Let me explain to you what's happening. Because honestly, what quote unquote saved this election was an increase of access and knowledge. It was telling
Yes.
people how the process worked, and it was
Yep.
giving people a better way to participate.
Right.
So
Yes.
what if we did that more? What if we created more room for understanding and access in this process?
Yeah.
And I think some things might change. I don't know. I'm not a
There's
scientist.
got to be a parallel with this because I just brought my car in to Meineke, and
Yeah.
I had my oil changed, and when I got my oil changed, they said like a whole bunch of other stuff was going on with my car, like I need a patch and I need a time belt or whatever. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I just got a new time belt, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if I could just teach myself about my car so then I would know if I actually needed this stuff? And it's like, wait a minute, there's the internet, there's YouTube, there's all kinds of learning facilities now. I'm sure there's a fucking TikTok that'll show you how to change your carburetor. Like there must be, we have so much access to knowledge now that we can no longer sit back and be like, I don't understand. If you don't understand, do the fucking work. If you don't do the work, then fuck off. Like, you know, like.
Well, and it's hard. So I spent some time watching Fox News during the election cycle too, just because I'm a journalist. I have to see what's happening. And it was fascinating because like the news folks are like realistic. They're like, here's what it looks like. Like Fox called Arizona first. Like they're like, it's not looking better. And then this is great. I love this. and then but then like Tucker Carlson and the opinion folks would show up and just start saying like insanity. Like I was like, what? And so what's sad is like if you're someone that's from small town wherever and you watch Fox all day, you have no connection with anyone else, your Wi-Fi connection may not be that strong, like you're just watching Tucker Carlson and you think that he's like telling you facts. And I'm like, that's like, where's the responsibility on a network like Fox to say, because even I read an article today that was like, everyone during the day is like, this is ridiculous. We called the election. It's over. There's no question. Like there's no fraud. But then in the evening, all the opinion people are like, this is crazy. And so it's like, what? Like where Fox, help someone tell them that they need to change what they're saying on the air.
Yeah, here's the thing too though, it's like who is in charge of your news source, right? So I mean we have Fox News, we have CNN, those are the two, you know, left and right, you know, ways of how people get news, but it's like also they don't give a fuck about you.
Nope.
They don't give a fuck about us. They don't care what they put on the internet. It's about ratings, it's about money. And my husband has always told me, he's like, you know, if you really want to know what's going on in the world, check in with the economy. With the news, where the economists and the Wall Street folks and the financial folks, where they get the news, they will tell you the shit. They're like, listen, we need to do this because we need to make more money. And this is why we need to hire this person because they're going to make us more money. Everything else is just noise. It's just loud noise.
Oh, what a world. Well,
praise them.
In the midst of all the noise, what I love about you two is that you two have been like busy. You've been doing things, you've been teaching classes, you've been starting new jobs and businesses. So like, what y'all been up to in the pandemic? Ashawnti, what you got going on?
You know, just a short list. Helping my little brother and my little nephew with their homeschooling. So by day, it's like, okay.
That's a full-time job, like for real.
It's a lot. And, you know, first of all, before I get into what I'm doing, like, you know, these kids, you just got to give them grace. But sometimes I'll be like, my nephew Shamir, are you doing your work? And he's like, yeah. And then 2 seconds later, I hear him laughing at a YouTube video. And I'm like, they're not doing their damn work. Okay, so anyways. I'm like, there's no way. I started a business for health coaching. And I graduate next week. From the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I've always been interested in like health and wellness. I remember when I graduated high school, I wanted to go to med school. I wanted to like do something. I think I wanted to be like something in sports medicine. I don't know. But anywho, I kind of rekindled that flame of just wanting to know about health. And I started a business called Act Well Health Coaching. because I wanted to help actors specifically, but artists kind of gain a sense of like how they can be healthy and well and do their art, because when they are healthy and well, they can do their art. When they're not healthy and well, you're just giving from an empty cup, and you're basically like, you're not doing the art well because you're not well yourself, if this is making sense. But anywho, I have like 3 clients now. It's really exciting. Yeah, that's that's a little brand in there.
It's cute though. Look at
Oh,
it.
but thank you, Sarah Richardson, who made this for me.
Yes, Sarah Richardson.
Yes. Yeah, it's really fun. I've been learning so much about like mind, body, spirit type of wellness and health, and like how food is medicine, and how sleeping is kind of it correlates to like how long we live, longevity, like if we're having good sleep, how our mental health is directly related to the foods we eat. Like spinach can like make you happy. Green foods activate happy hormones in our gut. 90% of serotonin is in our gut. So if we're eating well, like it's sure to make us feel good. It just this amazing stuff that I'm like, why isn't this taught in high school health classes? It shouldn't be knowledge that I have to pay $6,000 to get. That's what my schooling costs, but I'm on a little payment plan, so it's fine. Yeah, but my goal, I would love to be somewhere down the line. I would love to be like a health coach for a theater, in which theaters can hire me in their rehearsal rooms, and I can talk to their actors about, this is how you can get energy to do this scene. This is how you can gain, this is how you can give to this scene, or come to rehearsal with this kind of energy so that you can do 8 flips in a cartwheel or whatever kind of shit. It's just, it seems really like, oh yeah, duh, but it's like, it's not, oh yeah, duh, because people aren't doing it,
Yeah. And that's I think that when we come back to whatever this new theater is that people keep talking about, that like those are things we need to think about. Like that's a job I never thought about. And that there should be someone in the room that's like, how y'all doing this morning? Like,
right. Yeah.
Let's make sure we have the right snacks that are like energy giving and not just like things for people to just eat during the day. Like how can you work with with a theater company as a consultant to be like, how are you being well to people from top down? Like,
yes. Yeah. It really,
y'all hear
really
this, people? Hire her.
Do you hear this? Hire me, because I ain't cheap. Let me tell you that first. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of am. That's the other thing, is I do one-on-one coaching, and I offer like extremely discounted rates, and I've had people ask me why, and the main thing is because artists don't make a lot of money. I wish we did, but we don't. So there's no way I can charge what this is really worth to someone who's taking a $500 stipend for a 3-month job. You know what I mean? So it's kind of pay what you can. Yeah, I'm loving it. Hire me.
I love that, and I love that for you.
Yeah,
Joy, what have you been doing in the pandemic?
Well, I've been seeing my therapist, and she's great. She told me all the things Ashawnti was saying about eating well and exercise.
Listen, Ashawnti will cost less, so you better switch on over.
How much you cost? No, when the pandemic, March 13th, was when they shut down all the theaters, and so I was in the last week of a show then. And so I was like, I wasn't sure what to do. And so, I mean, the first like month, I just kind of fucked around and didn't really do much. And then I started, I still work with American Public Media, Minnesota Public Radio. I do a podcast called Smash Boom Best. And that's on all the platforms. And that's essentially like the show where I get to write my own script and we debate silly topics like, what do we do? Flowers versus rainbows,
Oh my
and so I
God.
write a script and we debate it with kids and we just it's really fun. So I've been doing that. I also was working on starting a BIPOC camp, a camp for BIPOC kids. And I've been on a lot of committees, so I was working on that. There's also a Black collective in Minnesota that's trying to figure out how to make some art for George Floyd in memorial to him. And so I was on the committee for that. I am right now working with the Jungle Theater, assistant directing a show called Is Edward Snowden Single? It's very funny. And it's all like on the computer, and so we're figuring out how this new medium works in the world that we're in right now. How does theater work now? So we're figuring it out. It's pretty fun. And so I'm doing that, and then also Blackout is still working. Like I do workshops, and I'm teaching for the U of M. I'm teaching a master class in improv at the University of Minnesota right now. And I'm practicing my guitar here.
Yes,
So,
Joy.
if you guys want me to play a little ditty, I can.
Oh my God, are we about to get a performance right now?
Here we go.
Oh, let's see what the come up,
Hey!
the come up with Nick, the come up with Nick. Nick's coming up. We're coming up with Nick. With Nick. We're coming up. We're coming up with Nick. With Nick. Yeah! We're coming up. We're coming up with Nick. With Nick. With Nick. With Nick.
Yes! This is always when I wish I had an audience. Oh, you deserve so much more. Yes.
So that's what I've been
I
up
love
to.
That was so good.
That was so enjoyable. Wow. David, we
Cheers,
gotta replace
Papa.
your theme song. I'm sorry. We just got a new theme song right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you two just brought me so much joy this evening. Like two of my, and I mean, our interactions with each other in Minneapolis were like so like physically small, but like it was so felt. Like I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I mean it. And I just appreciate y'all so much and your spirits and your work ethic. And I watched so many artists kind of like be like, well, who knows? Pandemic, whatever. I don't. And to see folks like thriving and starting businesses and finding a way to like figure out this new medium or whatever it is, like has just been thrilling. So I'm so happy that you came to talk to me today.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. And it is tough. And like, I mean, as Black people, we know struggle, right? And it's like pandemic or no pandemic, life doesn't stop, right? And so
Right.
it's like, I think we all had that moment of, because of the pandemic, because of the election, this year has been so rough and we're all carrying so much. And then George Floyd, like, it's been a hard year. And I think allowing yourself the grace and the patience and the compassion to just be like, dude, this is too much.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
disappear into some TV, disappear into that ice cream, like do what you need to do to be better, and take a rest. Now is the time to rest. That's something that I learned from this pandemic that's been a blessing, is like I was working so much. I didn't realize that I didn't have time for myself. I didn't have time for my home and like my husband and my friends. And I'm just connecting with people so much more now that I can't be with them. And so it's finding the positives and knowing that you can't cling on them all the time, but knowing that they're there so you can hang your hat on it later. So you have a starting point, you have a grounding point. So
yeah, that's huge. And that's what the wellness coach, Ashawnti, Sakina Ford, great wellness coach for actors.
yeah, what's the
specifically.
website, Ashawnti? What's the website?
Yeah, what's your website?
Well, there's an Instagram.
Yes!
Actwell. What is it? Actwell Coach. Actwell Coach on IG. Follow me. I post. I try to post every day. But,
She said, what is it?
Oh, this is the laugh I needed. I hope that you gave the people. I know you gave the people the laugh they needed. Well, Ashawnti, Joy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's been wonderful.
Of course. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, but stick around if you want to chat or leave. I really don't have any
Hey,
personal.
wait, if anyone's listening and they want to donate to me, it's Joy Dolo, JOYDOLO on Venmo. I check my Venmo every day, hoping that someone sends me money, and nobody ever does.
Hop over to the Facebook right now and put your Venmos there. Put your put all the things there.
Send me money.
I see like $20. I see like $20.
Listen, we are on a campaign. What do you need, Ashawnti?
I would just like some money to buy some cookies tomorrow.
Okay.
Buy me some cookies.
Great. So we need $20 for Joy and cookie money for Ashawnti. They're going to put their Venmos.
I would also take some cookies. I mean, I'm not picky. I'll take money or like food. I like brownies. I like muffins. I like sweet breads. If you want to send me specific bread, times are hard.
I love Hawaiian bread.
That's good.
Hawaiian bread is
Hawaiian bread is
cornbread. I'll take some cornbread.
Oh, I love cornbread. I ate some chili the other day, and I was like, "Why not make some cornbread?"
Yes.
I know that was my thought process. This is so enjoyable.
Wait, Nick's trying to wrap it up. Wrap it up, Nick. Wrap it up.
Listen, I don't know. We might be stuck now. Like now we're just gonna join Ashawnti, everybody.
Yay.
Oh yes, aren't they hilarious? I knew they would be hilarious because they're hilarious. Like that is the smile. That's the energy that I needed to get through this week, like real talk. So thank you, Joy and Ashawnti, for being here. Quick shout out to my sponsors. Yo, I appreciate you for being you and for supporting this show. Thank you so much. I love you forever, for real. That's the show, folks. We got another show for you next week, right here again in my closet. And then I'll also have some news for the people. News for the people. You'll probably hear it before next week anyway, but you know, that'll make you come back this week, right? I don't know. Is that how marketing works? Who knows? See you next time.